Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am hoping that I have fixed the audio issue. I think it was because it's recording through a different microphone than usual. Not 100%, so we'll see with this video and then kind of go from there. It looked like we might have had a little bit of drama in my comments section. I'm not really sure who that guy is or really what he's going off about, but I want you guys to realize that his opinions do not reflect how I view or feel towards anything. I am a Christ-conscious person. I believe in spreading the message of Christ. I'm not necessarily entirely a biblical person per se, so I want to kind of clear that up. But the overall message of this channel should be in finding your own spiritual journey and seeking out love through that. So I hope that if there's any sort of misunderstanding or whatever with that other person, I hope they find the light that they clearly need to seek. So with that being said, today, yesterday's video was a little bit, I think, more selected just for a few people in the audience, not necessarily people as a whole. But this one is the video that I've been promising to make for a while, which is the karmic connection, and kind of going over that. I just want to say thank you everybody for the donations and all the support, liking, subscribing, staying with the channel, despite my own, issues that I've had with it. And myself for that. So much appreciation, guys. I really do appreciate it. I want to be there and making more consistent videos. Sometimes some days are easier than others, with whatever's going on at my other job, and just there's only so much wick per candle day, right? So with that being said, I have pre-shuffled and pre-prayed. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit here on camera for you guys. So today's video, obviously the karmic connection. I think what we're going to do is we're going to just really zone in and focus on how our twin is currently dealing with that, the feelings, everything like that. So this would be from our twin's perspective. Interesting. Three of Pentacles again as an ending energy. So I think that this is a very common theme that keeps popping up for me in particular. And when I see the Three of Pentacles, I really kind of, especially in this deck in particular, to me it always has kind of come across as like the soul contract, the agreement between the twins and the fulfillment that they've had to achieve, and whatever those agreements pre-agreed on via separation is going to be different and varying amongst every twin couple out there. But to me, this reads a lot of soul contract right away. I'm just picking up that feeling, that vibe to it. The only other two cards that we have showing immediately face up is the Lovers and the Four of Wands. I don't think anything particularly happens accidentally, especially not when I'm doing tarot readings. I feel pretty dialed in and directed with that. So we're going to just touch on kind of boom, boom, and boom right away, because I'm getting that feeling and I'm feeling guided to. So obviously the Lovers talks about that spiritual connection, that soulmate, that twin flame, that spiritual bond and connection, that person that God has put into your life for whatever reason, to shape, build, and help you push out to be your highest form of yourself, right? Typically the twins, when they interact and they come in together, they push each other to grow beyond what either one thought they were maybe originally capable of, or even had the idea of being in the first place. Four of Wands. Four of Wands to me, 11, I've always viewed that as a twin flame card. It's depicted as kind of like this marriage proposal, loving, unionist card. So to me, this is almost like a, hey, have faith, don't necessarily even worry about these other 3 cards for the time being. You'll be able to see what's going on, but this is part of the contract. This is part of the agreement. This is part of the journey and experience. We grow and learn and get lessons through different people, and maybe sometimes there are certain things that have to be experienced outside of the connection in order for them to grow to their fullest. But if it were to be experienced inside the connection, it would potentially damage or ruin that connection. So alright, so first card we have is Judgment. Judgment really talks about them being in a place where they've been dealing with a lot of their own spirituality. What do I believe? What do I think? What do I feel? Do I believe in the journey? Do I not believe in the journey? Do I have XY view on these religious things? It's all about spirituality and that sort of growth. And them kind of furthering their understanding in that area. Where are the signs? What are things pointing to? Am I fully engulfed in it? Kind of thing. And even for them, just because they're maybe not engaging in the twin flame connection with you at the moment, or however, it still is one of those things where they could be still discovering their own other side of spirituality and going through that, following their path on, developing a career and developing their fitness or their physicality or other skills, hobbies, passions, the other flavors to life. Because right here we have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles is about feeling like they're in a prosperous time, or trying to get to this point of harvest where they can collect and reap the rewards for the work that they've been putting in. And this can be in multiple different areas. This could be, hey, when am I going to be able to move back towards this other direction? Or this could be, I'm about to achieve, this in career or something like that. It's all about prosperity and the harvest, right? And then the Queen of Wands, for me in particular, really talks about passion. My twin being in passion, finding stuff that's creative and hobbyist of her. So maybe she's really diving into that aspect of her life where she's maybe focusing more on arts or collecting, like a hobby collecting or whatever that is, going through that and finding the passions and the skills with her. And this could be traveling, this could be multiple different things, but that sort of passionate side to it. I think the Lovers connection is obviously going to be something that maybe there's confliction or something like that. It could even indicate that they are viewing this other person, their karmic, as a potential lover in this. This could also, the Four of Wands to me is probably going to represent either confusion or their thoughts towards the twin flame connection. So we'll see how these two play out here. We'll get more clarifiers obviously and go from that. Here, we'll shuffle this. Page of Swords, ending theme here. So, to me, this is, the Page of Swords typically represents the karmic. Someone that is of karmic nature. They're not that fulfilling role that would be a king, and it's not necessarily represented as a knight where it'd be kind of like maybe you still need to do some growing in these areas. So to me, this is definitely her karmic, and maybe the feelings or something like that towards this. And when I say how she's feeling, replace that with obviously whatever gender pronoun makes sense for your situation. It's just really going to be kind of that sort of energy. So this would be the situation towards the karmic, potentially. So under Judgment, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant talks about, especially in conjunction with Judgment, is somebody that's capable of bringing together groups of people, networking, and really, I think, tying connections, making connections for them. And they view this as valuable to a spiritual level, even. Some of the connections that they're gaining from the karmic are potentially of that value, that kind of could potentially further their life in whatever networking sense that would be. We have the King of Wands under the Nine of Pentacles here. So with that being said, this is them feeling like they're trying to harvest, and the harvest ultimately is to bring them to this King of Wands, which would be the connection between King and Queen of Wands. The harvest here really speaks of basically them trying to, or feeling like they're getting close to having put in the hard work to achieve this greater connection, this higher person. And for me, I think with a lot of people, that's going to mean that they are expecting either this other person to grow up or be a different breed of person. They're really wanting to see some growth from this other person, from their karmic. They're thinking that as basically more prosperity and more ability to harvest their situations, whether that's financial or however you want to view that, that it should create the situation to grow more. However, with it being a karmic connection, eventually this won't make sense because this person won't ever change to that. There'll just never be that fiery connection between these two that they seek out. So even if they have like this side to them that is networking, and it makes sense on paper for a lot of reasons or whatever, this doesn't even have to just be networking. It could just be that like this is almost practical. It's something that's been there for a long time, or I don't know. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting from it, though. It's like a practical situation. It's a practical choice, and it makes sense to progress this way because they're either so networked in, or they're providing networks or something like that. They're part of the family, even. That kind of situation. But there's never going to be the fire or the chemistry that they are seeking, and they're hoping that it will come, but it can't come from that. There's just not that kind of connection. So the Page of Cups, underneath the Queen of Wands, the Page of Cups is about them knowing that they need to have an honest conversation. They need to be able to bring forth honesty. Probably when this doesn't ever achieve, or even I feel like a lot of them are aware that this is just never going to achieve, and there's got to be this real heart-to-heart about, you know, following that sort of feeling in their heart, that the understanding that, you know, love has to win, and love is in that essence. They're not to say that there isn't love amongst their karmics, but it's not the same kind of love, and they know that, and they're very aware of that. And in fact, it's almost like with this, it's almost like blatantly clear. It's like constantly being thrown in their face for them. So under the lovers, we have the sun. The sun talks about, you know, especially in this deck. I always loved the sun in this deck because it's just two twin people. They're you know, basically spinning around each other, frolicking, and there's just, it's complete positivity and just happiness. And to me, that really speaks volumes to the connection that they have within the lovers. It's, you know, that spiritual connection is something that they truly desire. That level of light and absolute bliss that there is when they connect. There's that just desire, and they want to be able to figure out how to make it happen all the time, because it's rough kind of going back and forth, is kind of the message. And then we have the Four of Wands with the Knight of Cups. So this is that card where I was talking about them realizing that they need to, or how they're feeling about the connection, the twin flame connection. And obviously these two cards in general are kind of just going over that. But they know that there needs to be a message that comes. And I think a lot of them just don't know how to send that message, or the timing's not right. Interesting. So I just totally zeroed in on this Page of Swords here, and what I've noticed on this in particular is that the Page of Swords is covering his mouth, and I just got the words kind of coming that the karmic is essentially blocking communication. It's very frowned upon. It's not able to happen. It's not allowed to happen. It's like they're covering their mouth, you know. It's preventing the message that they know needs to get there, but they can't, because the karmic is basically preventing the message from being relayed. And I think a lot of people, this is actual, like, physically being, you know, like they can't actually get the words out, because, you know, whether they've been forced to block this person or blah blah blah, they cannot, they're not capable of communicating because the karmic is preventing it. So let's get some more clarifiers here. So with making these karmic videos, you know, I feel like it always provides a little bit of clarity, but it's one of those things that I feel like it's kind of heavier energy to deal with, and I'm happy to dive into it if people have specific requests or needs, you know, on the side, and they say, hey, I need a karmic video because, you know, I'm tired of not knowing, or whatever. I totally get it. It's just one of those heavier ones, I feel like. Alright, so ending energy. Bottom of the deck here. We have the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is all about them feeling like they have a billion choices. They have so many different ways that this can all play out, and to a lot of them, I feel like they picked so many different times to go this way or that way, and they've gotten bitten, they've gotten fooled, they've gotten tricked, or it just hasn't worked out in their favor. There's been consequences for their actions when they go that route. No matter what they do, it's just it seems to be punishments, even if there is some good that comes out of it, that it has obviously consequences. That's the word I keep repeating. So they're stuck. They're trying to make this choice. They're trying to figure out the illusion. They're trying to go through the process of figuring out how to basically do this without having it blow up in their face. And underneath the Judgment and the Hierophant here, we have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands talks about trying to bring passion in. And to me, I think this is them trying to actually add passion into their relationship with their karmic. I think they're trying to basically add the fire they want this, and they would like it with their current karmic, because that would make things simple for them. That would make it really simple for them. They wouldn't have to deal with all the other stuff. They could just, have their cake and eat it too, essentially, right? So they want the passion, and to me, they've been trying to add the passion in here. But I think there's been some betrayals, there's been some hurts in the past, that maybe is really just stopping the passion from ever being added. It's just, this person's dead. This situation's dead. There's been betrayal. It's poisoned. It's gone. They can't go back and undo what's been done. It's over. And there'll never be that fiery connection from here on out, because of how things have played out for whatever reason. And the betrayal could look totally different for everybody, or what have you. But this could be betrayal from their karmic to them. This could be them betraying their karmic, and just because of that, there's never going to be the ability to respark completely. It's just, it is what it is. Knight of Wands, Page of Cups, King of Cups. They need to be able to relay, honestly, that the emotion that they need out of the connection is just not there. The fiery passion, but the emotional connection side of things as well. They need that emotional maturity. And this could be emotional maturity all the way around. But to me, it's still them seeking out and having a heart-to-heart, like an honest heart-to-heart, that they know needs to happen. And I almost feel like it's between both sides. It's like, hey, I need this level of emotion from you, and I know I'm never going to get this level of emotion from you. Kind of understanding. Like, just, this person's never going to be able to meet me on this wave, because it's never happened, it won't happen, it's not in the stars like that, right? This could be a discussion about, hey, after all this time, after XYZ, I still cannot get over this person. I need to explore this, and if you truly, think our love can survive and last all, let me go explore this. Let me get this out of the way, because it is, eating me alive. And if you can't handle that, I'm not sure that I can be with you, kind of XYZ, piece that together however. But I think that's some sort of conversation that I think a lot of them need to have. Six of Wands with the Lovers and the Sun. So this is victory, this is success, this is, you know, twin successful, moving forward, in that sort of ability to move forward and have that connection. There is success obviously here, but I think the success really comes from being able to sort through the illusion of this over here, you know. They gotta be able to realize that they can't add this passion back into it. It can't come. I think a lot of them have to try before they, you know, ultimately go like, hey, you know, my heart is just unfulfilled. Like I'm just, you know, whatever. And sort through, you know, their emotions towards this own betrayal. I think there's probably some heavy feelings, you know, on both sides. I think there's got to be some, you know, ability to learn how to forgive themselves, forgive this other person, whatever, with this. And then, obviously, I'm kind of just reiterating to recap this, but, you know, them having to sort through, you know, what the emotional side they need, what that is, what that looks like, and what that essentially lacks in one and maybe is overcompensated in the other, or, you know, however, right? Then we have the Knight of Wands, we have the Knight of Cups, or I'm sorry, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Four of Wands, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles here. And to me, this says that union comes with the message, you know, three-dimensionally, once they're capable of sorting through all this, you know, stuff, and that's just part of the contract here. They have to sort through the illusions, in order to, you know, be able to bring it three-dimensionally. So obviously that's kind of self-explanatory, but I think it's kind of like one of those things, you know, hey, general for a karmic reading, you know, you need to understand that there's been a soul contract, that they're being essentially held quiet, and that they have to sort through the illusions. I like it. So we have Temperance and we have Death, and we have the Two of Wands. I asked for my advice, or the advice to be given here, and to have these both show up is actually really impactful for me personally, because I view this as us having to plan out and figure out our path, you know. And Temperance represents life, holiness, you know, and living an authentic life. And then Death, I think, is pretty self-explanatory, you know. Do you pick, you know, which side of life do you want to be on? Do you want to, you know, be filled full of vices and, you know, this, that, and the other, basically death, anything that's going to damper your state of living, depression, poverty, things of that nature. You know, God doesn't want us to be in you know, in sickness and you know, poverty and depression and not having faith in situations. So to me it's, you know, plan out your future, and that's what you should worry about is, you know, do you pick life or do you pick death? And when I say that, I mean, do you pick spiritual life or spiritual death? I hope this reading has been helpful. If anybody, I'm probably going to do another 5 private readings this week. I don't think I want to take on any more than that. I might take on some more recordings, so if you guys get in quickly, I'll do the private readings, and we can do Skype. If not, I'll do recorded videos for you. So Thank you guys, and please be sure to like the video if it was something that touched you. If you're still